The Matrix perhaps holds the record in terms of the number of interpretations and theories. What if I told you that Morpheus is really in league with the machines, and he never intended to save humanity? We welcome you to the About Movies channel. Today, we will try to understand the new theory and find out, is Morpheus actually a positive character or still a villain? But before this, make the subscription button gray and click on the bell to be the first to receive high-quality content about movies. Have you done it? Then we will go to Zion. The Wachowskis have been creating The Matrix for 5 years and have done a really multifaceted thing. And although the second and third parts are not as successful as the first, they develop a logical and consistent plot. The confrontation with the Matrix in the first part gradually turns to the confrontation with robots in the next films. There is a clear line between the real world and the virtual one. They differ as night and day. The virtual world is beautiful. It has cities, roads, and public transport. The real world is ruins, sewers, hunting robots, and black clouds. But if we assume that all this is a hoax, everything immediately falls into place. The Wachowskis hinted in the second part of The Matrix that the real world was actually also a Matrix. Of course, we missed it, but we still understand how it was possible not to notice it. Look, we are immediately told that Neo is the chosen one. He can stop bullets, fly, confront hundreds of villains with his fists. He can even go into the computer program of other programs, change them, and tear them from the inside. But then, suddenly, it turns out that Neo is able to do this not only inside the Matrix, but also in the real world. He stops several hunters with his mind. Later, he stays in the Matrix without any connection. He sees Smith and other machines when he is blinded. And later, he completely destroys octopuses. Neo does not have telekinesis and other power in the real world, only in the virtual one. This is a giant hint from the creators that the real world is actually also virtual. And all the people who moved from the Matrix to the real world were deceived, because they moved from one Matrix to another. And the key role was played by Morpheus, the god of dreams in mythology. But first things first. According to all the drafts and sketches for The Matrix available on the internet, the original script of the film is 99% the same as the final one. In the first part, only some dialogues have been corrected, which are able to shed light on the true intention of the authors. But this is done only to make the answer less obvious. This only means that the answer is still where the brothers left it, in the film. In an interview, the Wachowskis avoided answering the question, is Zion real? But in principle, it does not mean anything yet. It may be real or may not. Therefore, we will try to find all the answers to the questions that concern us in the film. It is worth paying special attention to the dialogues. In particular, a dialogue with the architect should be stressed. Everything he said is 100% true. This dialogue is the key to the entire trilogy and the starting point of this theory.
The first Matrix I designed was quite naturally perfect. It was a work of art, flawless, sublime. The inevitability of its doom is apparent to me now as a consequence of the imperfection inherent in every human being.
So, as the architect told us, the first Matrix was a work of art, perfection, an ideal utopian world. Nevertheless, its collapse was not long in coming. The reason for that collapse was the imperfection of the human individual. The same words are confirmed by Agent Smith, who was created in the first version of The Matrix along with other programs such as Keymaker, Merovingian, Twins, and so on. People did not accept that ideal world. The second version of The Matrix was improved. The architect corrected human history, hoping to reduce human vices. That was because he considered the reason for the collapse was the imperfection of human beings. And yet, there was a failure. In the third version of The Matrix, the architect found a solution to the problem. No matter how perfect and harmonious the Matrix is, it will still collapse. And the reason for this problem was very accurately noticed by Neo. He said, choice. The problem is choice. Choice is the missing component needed to balance the architect's equations. This phrase has a special meaning because in the programming language, problem means an issue that needs to be solved. and the architect found a solution to that problem. Many know that there are imperative and declarative programming methods. Imperative methods imply an exact description of the path to the desired result, step by step, straightforward, and accurate. Agent Smith was created according to that principle. He was the defender of the system from the first version of the Matrix, but he could not take into account the choice component. However, the choice component must be precisely defined at first. Smith is too straight for that. He can't work with people. He is like a dog, capable of performing only one task: protecting the Matrix. And where strength is not enough, a different approach is needed. The architect needed a program that had a trick. And then the declarative programming method comes to the rescue. There, the programmer specifies only the desired result and the program independently finds a solution to the problem. The problem is choice. And do you know what is the name of one of the first in the world, or rather the first successful program based on the declarative method? It is the Oracle program. The imperative Smith program in the first two versions did not give any result because the choice component cannot be taken into account. But the declarative Oracle program was able to solve the problem of choice. It must be controlled. This is the program that the architect is talking about.
Thus the answer was stumbled upon by another, an intuitive program, initially created to investigate certain aspects of the human psyche. If I am the father of the Matrix, she would undoubtedly be its mother. As I was saying, she stumbled upon a solution whereby nearly 99% of all test subjects accepted the program as long as they were given a choice, even if they were only aware of the choice at a near unconscious level.
This program gives people a choice, despite the fact that the choice exists only in their subconscious because their choice is controllable. This is once again confirmed by the words of the architect.
While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
But the Oracle does not give people a choice. As she told Neo, the choice has already been made. Morpheus gives people the choice. That is why he so symbolically offers Neo two pills, red and blue. And the Oracle has only one, the red pill. Once again, emphasizing this with her own words. The choice has already been made. The Smith program hints very subtly that one program does not represent only one person. The program can be presented in the form of 2,000 or 3,000 people. This is a computer universe. It is possible to recreate any images and any appearance in it. And according to mythology, Morpheus is the god of sleep, who brings dreams to people and comes to them. And he is the only one who gives people a choice in the Matrix. Morpheus is part of the declarative program that the architect created. Morpheus and the Oracle are parts of the same program, the Oracle program that gives people a choice and controls it. Now we will go even deeper. In the second part, the Oracle says that all programs have a function. They are all created for something, but what is her function? Is it a help for people who go against the system? This is just ridiculous. The same words are confirmed by Ramachandra.
Every program that is created must have a purpose. If it does not, it is deleted.
But the Oracle still exists. No one erased it because it performs its functions. The Oracle program has two functions, choice and its control. Let's talk about the first one. As we know, the first two versions of the Matrix collapsed very quickly. The reason for everything was the choice. Some people, over time, begin to realize that they are inside the simulation. Just like Neo noticed all his life that something was wrong with the world. He realized that they were in a world of illusions, even if it was an ideal utopian world. People are beginning to resist this system. They want to get out. They want to wake up, no matter what the real world turns out to be. People need a choice, and the Oracle program gives them this choice. In the third version of the Matrix, the Oracle builds an additional virtual world of Zion, and every opponent of the system can voluntarily leave the Matrix and go to Zion. Morpheus transports all the opponents of the system in a separately created virtual world. All those who violate the beauty of the architect's equation and lead the Matrix to chaos. And already in Zion, the system gives these rebels what they want: the fight against machines. But in fact, there is no confrontation, because they have not even left the Matrix. The rebels get a choice. They get false hope in a separate space where they do not interfere with others. Zion is something like a sparring stadium for them, where they can rage, fight, organize protests, and the main Matrix at the same time remains in normal condition. Is it a little rough? Perhaps. But think for yourself, if you make Zion the same utopian, the consequences will be similar. And then the machines will need a third Matrix. The Oracle created Zion, the second Matrix, and she needed someone who would be a kind of guide from one world to another and give people a choice. That is how the second identity of the Oracle, Morpheus, appeared. The clue is also hidden in the way Morpheus appears. When he first contacts Neo, Mr. Anderson already knows about him and is eager to meet him. It looks as if the system sends him a vision of meeting Morpheus, just as it sent a vision of Trinity's death in the second part. Morpheus paves the way for his appearance in advance, giving information about himself. He does everything in such a way that the opponents of the system find it themselves. He eliminates them without any problems by instigating mystery, throwing dust into eyes. Even the awakening itself raises many questions. When Neo wakes up, he is simply sinking down the drain. Don't machines erase the memory of those who wake up and send it back to the Matrix? Don't they turn people into a nutritious mixture? They just put him in the hands of the Resistance. It is quite strange behavior on the part of machines. Morpheus tells a story about the first chosen one, who woke up and freed the others. Imagine what it's like to wake up on one of these farms, without food, without water, without a hovercraft, without the most basic equipment, without clothes, a bed for the night, and with atrophied muscles. It is such a savior. A person who sleeps all his life in a capsule will not find the strength to simply get on his feet. This is just an ideal scheme for eliminating unwanted people. Morpheus, the god of sleep, says the phrase,
"Good night, Zion. Sweet dreams."
As we know, programs can experience something like feelings, and the Oracle program is no exception. Morpheus, like his creation, he was imbued with human feelings, because that's what he was created for the study of the human soul. It was not without irony.
It's bullshit. You're asking for one of us to disobey a direct order.
That's right, I am. But we well know that the reason most of us are here is because of our affinity for disobedience.
Morpheus barely suppresses a smile as he says this phrase. You are here in the second illusory world because you do not want to obey. He admires machines.
A sentinel for every man, woman, and child in Zion.
That sounds exactly like the thinking of a machine to me.
The second function of the Oracle is much more complex and much more important than the first. It is one thing to give a choice, but it is quite another to control it. It was about the control of choice that the architects spoke about. They need to make it predictable so that it can be taken into account into the equation. And then the most interesting thing begins. No, seriously, right now, a very important detail is that the Oracle does not predict anything. She creates the conditions for the fulfillment of her prophecies. In the original script, in the scene where Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity are driving in the car to the Oracle, Neo asks Trinity, "What did she tell you?" Lots of things. Any of them true? Some of them. Her predictions are only partially true. Any of us can predict with such accuracy. In the final version, at the end, Trinity says the following.
The Oracle told me that I would fall in love and that the man that I loved would be the one.
That replica was not originally there. It was made only for drama. The feelings of Neo and Trinity in the original script appeared a little earlier, in the scene with the phone in the underpass. The Oracle never predicted anything. This is also confirmed by the words of Cypher. In the original script, Cypher says that Neo is not the first chosen one, literally. I'll be that he didn't tell you that this wasn't the first time he thought he found the one. In the episode where Cypher disconnects the crew members from the Matrix, in the original script, he says very interesting things. The truth is that the war is over, It's been over for a long time, and guess what? We lost. Did you hear me? We lost the war. Trinity asks, what about Zion? Cypher answers, Zion? Zion is a part of this delusion. More of this madness. That's why this has to be done. It has to end, now and forever. The Oracle's previous prediction that Cypher was the chosen one, but later Morpheus realized that this was a mistake. That's why Cypher went berserk. He realized that he was deceived. He was not the chosen one, and Zion was part of this deception. He decided to hand over Morpheus to the agents, asking them to reconnect him back into the Matrix. But he did not know that Morpheus is not a person, and it is impossible to hand him over. The agents only played along with him. We see a demonstration of the Oracle's powers in one of the key scenes. It is the scene with the vase. Would Neo have broken the vase if she hadn't told him? She's not a prophetess. Neo just stood near the vase. This moment represents the essence of the film. Her intervention makes her predictions come true. Neo would never have been chosen without her intervention, without her strict control. After all, she says that nothing is predetermined. The future is not written yet. The task of the Oracle is to study the choice, to study the human soul, to find a way to control the choice, and for this, the chosen one is needed. The Oracle does not predict the future, but forms it. She is the author of the prophecy and its main performer. The prophecy was completely fulfilled. The task of the Oracle is not to predict, but to make the future, controlling the choice. As the Oracle said, the choice has already been made. This is also confirmed by the architect. The choice of Neo, the chosen one, turned out to be completely predicted. That is why he is now in front of him. And in the architect's room, the last phase of choice control was performed. It sounds awful, but we are going to explain it now. What does it mean to be chosen? It all depends on the choice. Neo is the perfect model. He has the strongest rebellious potential. If we speak about people whose choice upsets the balance of the Matrix, then Neo's choice is the most unpredictable. The Oracle program was created to study the choice of the One, the very ideal rebel. Thus, it was created to make him and all the inhabitants of the Matrix act predictably. Of course, there is a theory that Neo is not the chosen one at all. You can find out about it if you click on this card in the corner. There, we talked about why a completely different hero can actually be the savior of people. So click on the link if you are interested. But still, in the context of this theory, Neo is the one. Mr. Anderson has the greatest rebellious potential. The Oracle gives him data about Morpheus long before their meeting. Thus, Neo begins to look for him. Morpheus calls him and says that he has been looking for him all his life, which is basically 100% true. Morpheus has been looking for rebels all his life, and Neo is the perfect rebel. He is contacted by Trinity, who is sent by Morpheus. But the instructions were not to take him to Morpheus immediately, but simply to contact him. Then, Agent Smith gets involved and intimidates Neo. He implants him with a fake tracker, which makes no sense at all. After all, they can monitor all those who are not awakened in priori. Smith only wanted to scare him and push him to his first choice. Between the system in the form of Secret Service agents and the criminal, Neo chooses Morpheus. Next, Morpheus talks about the Matrix and offers another choice: to be in the system or to resist the system. Neo chooses a red pill. The Oracle tells Neo that Morpheus will be in danger and Neo will have to choose between himself and Morpheus. But the Oracle is not a fortune teller. She is just a programmer. She forms the environment, creates a situation in which Morpheus is captured. Since Morpheus is being watched by the hover ship's crew members, Smith, engaging in pseudo-dialogue, pretends that he is trying to extort Zion's protective codes, which they themselves have installed to maintain the performance. Even the architects said that they had already destroyed Zion. Even if it could be restored, which already sounds crazy, would they have any difficulties with redestroying it? How can a tiny handful of hungry people build such a city? Nonsense. They would never be able to do it. Neo chooses to save his friend despite the fact that Morpheus told him that Neo is most important. Only he will be able to stop the war. Neo chooses affection for a friend instead of a chance to end the war. Along with this, he makes a choice to become the Chosen One. After all, the One is the project of the Oracle. The Oracle said that only he can decide whether he is chosen or not. He takes the initiative into his own hands, thereby finding the necessary faith. Neo chooses to become the Chosen One. The machines endow Neo with some abilities, further strengthening his faith, increasing his manipulative effect. He shows impressive tricks, but only with permission. He sees Smith in the real world, but at the same time he does not see that the Oracle is a program. After that, the machines send Neo images with Trinity's death and begin to assault Zion. Thus, they set the stage for one of the key choices. As the architect said, he himself is curious about what Neo will choose, Trinity or Zion, human affection or resistance. Neo chooses Trinity, dooming all of humanity to death. And while we are coming to the next phase of pondering, we want to ask you to write at least a couple of words in the comments. Do you like this theory? We really want to know your opinion. We will read everything with pleasure and like it, so feel free to write your thoughts. In the end, humanity was not destroyed, but the machines were not going to do it. They achieved only one goal: to determine what is more important for the Chosen One, love or freedom of his entire species. Neo was ready to sacrifice all of humanity, hope for the future for the sake of love. The architect spoke about that. According to the architect, he did not need to avoid the problems associated with Neo because they were all expected and manageable. It led him inexorably here. The whole manipulative scheme of the Oracle developed, and the whole series of choices took him here. The equation was almost solved. Further, according to the architect, he is given the right to choose, despite the fact that choice is only in his subconscious, and Neo accepted the rules of the game.
As you adequately put, the problem is choice. But we already know what you are going to do, don't we?
His affection allowed him to fulfill the function of the Chosen One. Neo made a choice: the death of the Resistance. He accepted the dictatorship of the machines for the sake of Trinity. As a result, he saved Trinity, reconnected to the world of Zion, and then it was time for the final phase of the plan.
That's impossible. The prophecy tells us.
It was a lie, Morpheus. The One was never meant to end anything. It was all another system of control. I know it isn't easy to hear, but I swear to you it's the truth.
Neo realized that he was playing by their rules. He realized what he had just chosen. The Oracle said that his choice was made. He just needed to realize why he did it. She offered him only one pill, a red one. He comes to the realization that Zion is also a virtual world. This is what allows him to stop the hunters with his mind. Neo realizes that the dictatorship of machines is not the worst of the troubles. His banal human affection turned out to be more important to him than all of the resistance. He chose a dictatorship, and with this choice, Neo goes to the source, the main computer. The part of the equation which is necessary for the balance of the system is located in it. He only needs to upload it to the system and it will be balanced. The choice will be determined. The Oracle said that only by rallying together they can survive. Even the counselor Haman, one of the leaders of Zion, tells Neo that people and machines need each other. In the final battle with Smith, Neo realizes his helplessness and meaninglessness, but nevertheless continues it. And then Agent Smith says the following.
You must be able to see it, Mr. Anderson. You must know it by now. You can't win. It's pointless to keep fighting. Why, Mr. Anderson? Why? Why do you persist?
Because I choose to.
This phrase contains all the pain and the main idea. People continue to fight for only one reason. They need a choice.
You were right, Smith. You're always right. It was inevitable.
Neo realized that and accepted it. He went to the source and, with the help of Agent Smith, who prepared all the inhabitants for the reboot, loaded the missing part of the equation into the main computer, and then into each inhabitant of the Matrix. Neo came to the machines, to the architect in peace. He realized that only together they can survive, just as the Oracle said. After all, the real world is no longer suitable for existence. The seventh cycle of the Matrix is started.
It is done.
It may sound strange, but the Oracle studied the nature of the choice of the One and completely suppressed the will of Neo, and the will of all mankind with it. She says that people simply cannot make an adequate choice without understanding what they are choosing from. Therefore, the choice should be made for them. The succession of Neo's choices constantly varied from resistance to the system to its complete submission. The corrected code will force people in the deep subconscious to make a choice in favor of the system. They would choose it every time the way Neo did it. We are so grateful to the Wachowskis for this amazing, twisted story, and the actors for getting their characters perfectly. By the way, if you click on the video that has now appeared on your screen, you can see a detailed biography of Keanu Reeves. Find out about his failures, how he almost died several times, and be inspired by the efficiency of this guy. That's all for today. Like this video and see you soon. Bye-bye.